Hello, I'm James Preston for Kalkine Media and welcome to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks. In this edition, I'll be shining a light on Dundas Minerals, and the best way to do that is to sit down with the Managing Director of Dundas Minerals, Shane Volk. Shane, thanks for joining me today.
Good morning, James. It's a pleasure to join you from Perth in Western Australia.
Now, how is it there over in Perth today? Beautiful sunny skies as always?
As always, we've had quite a bit of rain overnight, but a lovely morning. Beautiful here.
Beautiful, that's what we like to hear, Shane. Now, first and foremost, mate, what is Dundas Minerals focused on?
Well, Dundas Minerals is an exploration company. We're exploring for nickel, copper, gold in a highly prospective area in Western Australia, the Albany-Fraser origin. And some of your viewers that may have followed the area would be aware of the Nova nickel mine, would also perhaps be aware of the Tropicana gold deposit, and a little bit more recently a deposit called Silver Knight was discovered by the Creasy Group, and that's been taken over by Independence Group. So it's an area that has had a great deal of exploration or discovery success in the not so in the recent years. Yeah.
No, I think you're spot on. It is something definitely that our audiences are familiar with. It's a very highly prospective area. You do have a number of exploration licenses. Where exactly are they located?
Absolutely. So Dundus has managed to secure quite a large tenement position, 1,200 square kilometres in total. And we're just to the south of the Nova mine, around 140 kilometres south, and just to the northeast of the Western Australian port city of Esperance, around 120 kilometres northeast of Esperance. So we're south of the main highway that goes, the Great Eastern Highway that goes across from Western Australia to South Australia. So we're just in that area there, James, yeah.
Now, also pretty exciting stuff for you guys. You just recently listed on the ASX back in November last year, but it already seems like you're doing significant things in terms of your exploration progress. What would you say have been some of the key achievements to date?
Yeah, look, absolutely. We listed only recently in November. We've got around 60 million shares on issue, which is a very small amount for a junior exploration company. And we've definitely hit the ground running. And what we've been doing is we've been focusing on targeting or zooming into the most prospective areas in our tenement package. And the way we've done that is primarily through the use of geophysical surveys. So we've completed, for example, a gravity survey, then we followed up with a magnetic survey, and then we've just recently completed an AMT survey. So that's all been conducted in less than a 12-month period, which for a junior exploration company is very fast-paced exploration.
Very fast-paced. I'll certainly second that. Now, you mentioned AMT surveys there. That's been done, as I understand, predominantly in the Central and Matilda South prospects in March. What can you tell us a little bit about the results from those surveys, though?
Yeah, look, really exciting, these survey results. And what we're looking for, or what we're able to glean from these AMT surveys is areas under cover, so this is under the topsoil layer, that are areas of high conductivity, and high conductivity can equate to sulfide type or massive sulfide type mineralisation, and that's the sort of areas that could host nickel and copper. So what the AMT survey has done, especially at our central prospect, we have a very, very exciting conductive body that sits sort of in the range of 200 to 400 metres below the surface, and we need to go and test that with drilling to test the rock types and also potential mineralisation. And then down at Matilda South, we have a series of a little bit weaker conductivities, but towards the edge of what we think is a mafic or ultramafic intrusive. And again, we need to get in there and test those with drilling. So two really compelling targets have emerged in a very short period of time in our tenement package. And we're very, very excited by these targets, James. Yeah.
Well, Shane, obviously there's so many different ways that we can actually look to explore these different minerals. What kind of equipment are you using? Is it very large-scale industrial things, just a little bit smaller? How are you approaching this?
Yeah, well, once we define an area that is we deem to be highly prospective, which we've done at Central and Matilda South, we then need to come in and test those areas with drilling. And we use conventional exploration drilling techniques that the industry uses widely, what we call diamond drilling, which takes a diamond core through the area of interest, or we can use reverse circulation drilling, which drills down and you have chips returned from the area of interest. So we're more likely to do some diamond drilling at both initially at both Matilda South and Central. That drilling's a little easier to control, and also we can generally get greater depths in that drilling, and we get a much better sample from that. So it's conventional sort of normal exploration equipment that we'll be applying in these areas.
Now you mentioned Central, also you mentioned Matilda South, but what is the focus for the rest of the year for Dundas?
Yeah, well, that's really it at the moment. We're moving towards testing these targets, most likely around July. It may slip a little bit. Western Australia, COVID, we're still challenged by some of the labour problems, and also the drillers are very busy at the moment all around the state. As it's quite an exploration boom here in Western Australia. So for our shareholders, I guess the most exciting thing to look forward to moving through this year are the results from the Central and Matilda South drilling. But we've also got some other results on the way. Earlier this year, we completed a soil survey in our northeast project area, so we're expecting results back from that. And earlier, even still, we had some drilling at some prospects at Kokoda and Jumbuck. So there will be good news flow between now and the end of the year, James.
Well, you mentioned there as well about some of the issues logistically and otherwise that you've had with, I suppose, Western Australia basically being cut off from the rest of the country in many ways. That's obviously a choice from Mark McGowan. We've just had the election called over the weekend. How do you think that will play into what happens moving forward? Obviously, one is state, one's federal, but do you think there'll be any sort of discussion around potentially lifting those bans depending on who potentially gains power?
Yeah, we're starting to see already in Western Australia a movement of workforce and people to the state now that the border restrictions have been eased. And for us at Dundas, we just announced this morning a tie-up with a Kalgoorlie-based services company, Petrocor. We've moved early to partner with them, and they'll be providing us with the expert labour and the support services that we need for our next drilling campaign. So that's how we're managing that situation, trying to get on the front foot ahead of the curve, because this is still a major risk for many explorers, just getting arms and legs on the ground. Yeah.
No, that is the big thing. It's certainly impacted just about every workforce for every industry. That is definitely an issue we've all experienced the past 2 years. Shane, if we want to get a bit more information about what you guys are doing with Dundas, is there a website, is there social media? How can we find you on the ASX, for example?
No, please, if people are interested, we have a website. Anybody that would like to follow us can register to receive our regular ASX updates. We've certainly got and will have moving forward good news flow. We have a Facebook page, but probably the best way to follow our story really is to just a small investment and buy some of our shares. You'll immediately you register your email address when you do that, and you'll receive regular updates, and you can be part of the discovery at Dundas Minerals as a shareholder, and we'd love to have you on board.
Well, Shane, that's a pretty good note to wrap it up, but I will give you one final chance to just get across anything you'd like to our audience and potential investors. What do you want them to take away from our chat today, and what are you excited most about with Dundas?
Well, I think, exploration is a journey, and it's a journey that can take time, but requires patience and resilience. But the critical part about being in the exploration journey is making sure you're in the right area. It's almost like real estate. It's all about location, location, location. And I think we believe at Dundas what we've done is we've secured a fantastic land package, 1,200 square kilometres. We truly believe that it's only a matter of time before we make the next company making discovery in our land package. And so that's what I'd like investors to potential investors, potential shareholders to take away. Join us in the search. Join us in this exciting part of the very well endowed Albany Fraser origin here in Western Australia. It's delivered before, and we truly believe it will deliver again, James.
Well, look, fingers crossed for you, Shane. It does sound very, very intriguing indeed, and hopefully you can certainly find all those things that you are looking for. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure.
Well, that's Shane Volk, the Managing Director of Dundas Minerals. And if you missed any part of that chat, you can catch the full interview on our YouTube channel, Kalkine Media. So make sure that you subscribe. I'm James, reminding you to stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.